Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. We are getting closer and closer to the biggest show in bodybuilding, and my excitement is rising day by day. In the first update of the day, we have recent updates from Nick Walker, who is looking absolutely incredible right now. Take a look at the side leg of Nick Walker, the detail, the definition. This guy has made some serious improvements since last year, and you guys have seen my predictions. I have Nick Walker placing in their top 4. I've heard people place him as high as second, as high as third. You can't count this guy out. He isn't the most aesthetic, but he will come in big in condition. I'm excited to see what he brings. Now, switching over to Hunter Labrada, we have recent updates from him. And a few people are concerned about, is Hunter Labrada pushing conditioning too far and losing too much size? I believe Hunter Labrada is about 257 pounds in this update, the same weight as Nick Walker, but a little bit taller. But I think this is a great game plan for Hunter. He's never really came in peeled to the bone, and I think as long as he's able to fill up by the Olympia competition, he'll be just fine. And I noticed in this update that Hunter Labrada has an imbalance in between his right and left arm. Do you guys think this could potentially be an issue for him at this year's Olympia? Now, in the next update of the day, we have recent updates from Derek Lunsford, who posted up this video today. This guy's looking absolutely incredible ahead of this year's Olympia, and I'm pretty sure Derek is one of the guys we are most excited to see. The reigning 212 Mr. Olympia moves up to Open, and Derek will be making his Open debut at the Mr. Olympia. I'm pretty sure that has never ever been done before. This guy is literally making history right in front of our eyes. But let me know in the comment section below, where do you guys see Derek Lunsford placing at this year's Olympia? Some people have him as high as second this year. You know, some people have him outside of the top 10. They don't think he'll have enough size yet to be competitive. But I'm excited to see this guy on stage. I think he's really going to bring a different package. I think we're going to see a whole new Derek Lunsford. Now, in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Charles Griffen. Charles calls himself the definition. Almost every picture he puts up, he hashtags different. I can definitely tell you we have never seen this version of Charles Griffen before. The level of conditioning that this guy has is pretty impressive. In my prediction video, I said that Charles doesn't really have that grainy look, but it looks like he definitely has that now. Look for this guy to definitely shake some things up. He could get into that top 10. Now, switching over to Rafael Brandão, we have a recent update from him. Rafa is looking absolutely massive right now, but will he be in good enough condition? He looks pretty big, but if you place this next to Ian Valliere, it's gonna look a couple weeks out. But regardless how Rafa places at this year's Olympia, I definitely believe he's gonna bring his best package to date. Pretty much his whole career, everyone just says he needs more size to be competitive, and Rafa has added the size. So will he be competitive for that top 10? Now, switching over to James Hollingshead, we have a recent update from him. James is very interesting. Some days he looks very conditioned, other days he looks a little bit soft and more full. And in this update, he definitely looks more full and seems like he could have more conditioning. I think James is still struggling with the fullness issue, and honestly, it could be he just needs more mass and is trying to compensate for mass with fullness. But hopefully James has a great showing at this year's show. Now, switching over to Justin Rodriguez, we have a recent update from him. Are we overlooking Justin going into this year's Olympia? Second place at this year's Boston Pro to William Bonac. He beat Steve Kuklo. He beat Samson Dowda at his last showing. Even though Justin did have the best showings at Indy and New York or Legion, can he make up for that at this year's Olympia? I'm not sure where Justin will place at this year's Olympia, but he definitely looks pretty good in these updates. Now, in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Brett Wilkin, the winner of this year's Big Man Weekend, and he is qualified for next year's Olympia. And I think Brett having a full year off to improve will be very beneficial for him. Brett doesn't really have a problem coming in condition. Big Man Weekend, Romania, Chicago Pro last year, he was all ripped. Just came in a little bit off at the Arnold Classic playing the size game. But I'm excited to see Brett Wilkin in the future. He's another guy that's coached by Matt Jansen. Now, switching over to Blessing Awardable, we have a recent update from him. Blessing was looking really off at 5 weeks out from this year's Olympia, but I would guess that Blessing is probably a guy that doesn't really get in his best shape until 2 or 3 weeks out from the show, because this is looking like a completely different version of Blessing Awardable than the one we saw in the NPC video. Are we overlooking Blessing going into this year's show? Now, switching over to Elliot Derman, this is a recent update from him. Elliot is one of the best amateurs we have in the sport of bodybuilding. And Elliot was supposed to compete at the NPC Nationals, but I believe he suffered from an injury and ended up having to pull out of that show. But he is looking pretty good right now. Looks like he's back on track. And I'm very excited to see this guy on stage. I don't think he will have an issue earning his pro card. What do you guys think? And switching over to Classic Physique, we have a recent update from Fabian Meyer. Fabian is looking very good ahead of this year's Olympia and probably going to bring his best package to date. He has 2 pro wins this season in the M Pro Classic and the Portugal Pro. And in my classic physique prediction video, I believe I placed Fabian in 10th, but there is a possibility he ends up higher than that. Fabian is a guy that has shown us he can consistently come in condition, and if guys come in off, they will be beat by Fabian. I'm excited to see the package that this guy brings. He's absolutely massive. Now switching over to Neil Curry, these are recent updates from him. Do you guys think it's a possibility that this guy can get into the top 10, the winner of this year's New York Pro? As we talked about with Neil numerous times, this guy has to really suffer to get down to the weight cap. I believe Neil said he looks his best at 240 pounds but has to drop down to 225 to compete. Hopefully all that suffering pays off at this year's show. Now switching over to Branch Chen Kang, we have a recent update from him. And take a look at the detail that Chen is displaying in this update. The cross striations in the chest honestly remind me of Wesley Vissers. Now this guy placed 5th in 2019. He came in a little bit off, but it looks like he is going to come in condition to this year's show. He has the visa. He's going to be there. He's coming to compete. The only critique that I have is Chen could definitely work on his posing. If this guy could pose like Terrence Ruffin, watch out. Now switching over to Ping Young Long, we have a recent update from him. How do you guys think Ping is looking ahead of this year's Olympia? And I wonder how this physique will stack up against the shorter, more compact physiques of the 212 division. Would they make Ping Young Long look taller and maybe not as filled out? Or will Ping stand out in the 212 maybe like an open guy? Gonna be very interesting to see. But Ping definitely needs to bring the back up. I feel like it's very hard to place a guy high that's missing something significant like back or legs. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, where do you have Ping placing at this year's Olympia? Now if you haven't met this guy already, let me introduce you to new IFBB Pro, Kyrie Cooper. This guy actually turned pro in classic physique and men's physique. He isn't going to come in and win the Olympia this year, but as you guys can see, this guy definitely has a very bright future. Honestly can go either way. Maybe men's physique right now because he definitely needs more legs from the back to be competitive in classic. But take a look at this waistline, guys. Very reminiscent of maybe Brian Buchanan. And ending this video here with the archive of the day, pretty sure this is going to be a very good one. You guys let me know in the comment section below which legendary bodybuilder is this. And I don't believe he ever turned pro actually, if you guys can believe that. But as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.